Hello there, and you're very welcome to another episode of the Arkham Avengers FFPL podcast. You join me, the host, along with Eamon, Hector, and Captain Fantastic on me, where we take a look to see how the managers in this league are getting on for the season. However, we'll also be talking about much more. So kick back, stay tuned, and enjoy. Well, listeners, we're not exactly sure if you missed us or not, but we're back. It's been a hectic few weeks now since our last episode, and I think we have a little bit of ground to make up when it comes to having a look at the managers and how they're getting on in the league here. So we won't delay. Eamon joins me today, and Eamon, I have to say, you're looking very well there in your Christmas jumper. You're certainly getting into the festive mood.
Yes, thank you very much. I thought I'd make an effort, seeing that this is the week before Christmas. Plus, I'm actually heading out with a few pals of mine after we finish this recording, and we're going for a meal and we'll have a few Christmas libations, and it is nice to be back. It seems like an awful long time since we recorded our last episode, and we were talking about some of the skullduggery that was going on with some of our managers, but I'm glad to be back. It's nice to be back before Christmas.
Oh, very nice. Well, I hope the evening goes well for you.
Yes, well, I expect it's going to go well. It's with my friends. We'll have a bit of a crack, so we will. And it has to be done, I have to say, because I look around here and there doesn't look like there's any sign of a Christmas shindig for our podcast crew.
When all things considered, Eamon, I mean, number one, there's only the two of us here, so unless we both go out together, there isn't much of a shindig.
Yeah, I noticed that. No Hector and no Captain Fantastic and Mick.
Yes, we have no Hector. He's actually returned to Brazil for Christmas and the New Year. Hopefully, maybe we might try and see if we get a call with him just before the Christmas or the New Year. Just a little chat with him there. As for Captain Fantastical Mick, well, he has been busy doing some punditry work for Virgin Media. I am hoping that he's going to make a return to us here.
I see. Well, look, he's probably getting paid for that. I mean, he's not getting paid for this, is he?
No, he's not, no.
And I suppose that's the problem. He's going where the money is, so you might have to have a little whip around or shake a bucket for him there as such. And look, Hector took off and he never said anything to me. I knew he was going home. Adios, Hector. Hopefully he doesn't have any issues with the passport again.
Well, we're still here, Eamon, and that's the important thing. Best leave it to the professionals.
And the professionals, we certainly are.
Well, on that note, I think we better get stuck in here and get the ball rolling and take a look at Gameweek 13. Listeners, before anybody takes a heart attack and thinks, oh my God, they're going to go through every team, every transfer, we'll be here all night. No, we're not. What we're going to do is, instead of having a full in-depth look at the managers, we're going to have a sort of an umbrella view, a helicopter view of how they got on, where they stood, where they stand. Maybe have a look and just see how many transfers were made. Maybe somebody used a chip. We don't know. So you can relax. Take a breath there. Now, okay. Eamon, Game Week 13. The highest points were 106 and the average points came in at 46. Do you want to start us off here and have a chat about the teams, the managers?
Yes, thank you very much, host. And to our listeners as well, you're very welcome. Welcome back. Look, there's still no change at the top here. Silverstroke got 62 points in Game Week 13. They had one transfer made. In second place was Taiga. They had 43 points. They didn't make any transfers. Up from fourth to third is the spoofer, Arkham Avengers. They got 60 points and they made one transfer this week. Also up from fifth place up to fourth, What a Beauty 99. They got 63 points and they didn't make any transfers. Also up from sixth to fifth place is Bamford Rejects, 69 points. No transfers made. Well, I'm not surprised there. One strange thing was down to sixth from third place was Sackers of Steel, who had 38 points. They had no transfers made. There was no change in seventh place. Luton Town had 58 points and one transfer made. There was no change either for Finally Got There. 51 points. They made two transfers and they took a hit of -4 in Game Week 13. Down from 8th to 9th is Raglan Road, 48 points. They made two transfers as well. They also took a hit of -4 points. Up from 11th to 10th is Lafayette Lions, 50 points. They made one transfer. And also up from 12th to 11th is the Toboggers, 52 points. One transfer made there. Down from 10th to 12th, won't be happy with this, Splitem Squad, 38 points and one transfer made. Then we've no change in 13th position. That's AFC Bournemouth, 44 points. They did make 2 transfers, but it didn't help them to move. And still no change in 14th place. Medinicus, 35 points, and they had no transfers for this game week. So Silverstroke still maintaining a firm grip there on first position. Next name, and I suppose we'll take a look at game week 14 and see what happened there. And I'll talk about it. Well, you're very welcome to talk about it. It's either you talk or I'll talk. Okay, well, I'll do the talking on this one here. Okay, game week 14, the highest points were 114 and the average points were 54. No change in first place with Silverstroke. They got 51 points. They had no transfers. No change either in second place with Taiga, 60 points. They had 2 transfers in this game week. Up from 5th to 3rd, Bamford Rejects with 69 points. No transfer made. No change in 4th place with What a Beauty 99, 59 points. They had no transfers. Down from 3rd to 5th, Arkham Avengers, 48 points. No transfers made. Up from 7th to 6th, and Luton Town, 63 points. 2 transfers, and they took a hit of -4 points. Down from 6th to 7th, Sakas of Steel, 58 points. They had 4 transfers made, and they took a hit of -8. Up from 11th to 8th, is Toboggers with 70 points. 1 transfer they made. No change in 9th with Raglan Road at 56 points. They didn't make any transfers either this week. Down from 8th to 10th, finally got there. 49 points. 1 transfer. Also down from 10th to 11th, Lafayette Lions, 58 points and no transfer made. There was no change in game week 14 in 12th place because Blightsome Squad got 56 points. 1 transfer they made. AFC Bournemouth remain in 13th place with 50 points and no transfers. And Medinicus still in 14th place with 57 points and they had 2 transfers. It's quite interesting there to see Toboggers starting to move up the table over the last number of weeks. It's encouraging. They normally wouldn't be down the bottom of the table like that so much for so long either. But I think they have a different approach to the game now.
Well, the question is, of course, can they maintain that steady rise in game week 15, where the highest points came in at 105? The average points, Eamon, were only 35. Take it away.
Yet again, we've no change at the top of the table with Silverstroke. They had 38 points and they didn't have any transfer activity this game week. Taiga still in 2nd place with 46 points. They did make 2 transfers and they lost 4 points as a result of that activity. From 4th place to 3rd is What a Beauty 99. They got 38 points. They didn't have any transfer activity. Down from 3rd to 4th place, Bamford Rejects, 26 points. Naturally enough, they didn't have any transfer activity, of course. That's something that's alien to this manager. So, folks, don't be expecting to see transfers here any day soon. The Spoofer remains in 5th place with 36 points. They did make 2 transfers. Up from 7th to 6th place with Sakas of Steel. They got 46 points. Now, they had 2 transfers in this game week and they lost -4 points as a result of that. Down from 6th to 7th is Luton Town, 25 points this week. And they had 1 transfer. They'll be very disappointed with that. Up from 9th into 8th place, Raglan Road, 39 points and 2 transfers. Up also from 12th to 9th place is Blightsome Squad. And they got 45 points and they had 1 transfer. Down from 8th to 10th place, the Toboggers, 26 points and 1 transfer. I'm disappointed with that, see, will be. There's no change in 11th place with Lafayette Lions, 36 points, although they had 2 transfers. Didn't seem to do much for them there. Up from 13th place to 12th. AFC Bournemouth got 54 points, even though they didn't have any transfers. And down from 10th place to 13th. It's finally got there with 34 points and no transfers. And 14th place is no change. Medinicus with 29 points and 1 transfer. You look at that table there, there's a lot of movement, and it's strange to see What a Beauty 99 so high, considering they were in 10th place in game week 11, yet they've managed to get themselves up to 3rd there. I think Toboggers and the likes of finally got there will be very disappointed to find that although they were going in the right direction going up, they're now dropping down to 10th place and 13th place respectively. They won't be happy with that at all. But I mean,
it's still tight enough between the managers, score-wise. And I mean, a bad game week can cause all sorts of trouble here, so it can.
Oh, it can indeed, yes. Look, when you see Towbuggers getting 26 points, it's not great. I know the average was 35, but you have to be trying to do a little bit better than that there.
Moving along to game week 16, we can see that the highest points were 112. The average points were 40. There's no change in first place. Silverstroke still remain top of the league with 56 points and they had one transfer. Tiger still in second place and they had 49 points. They played their wild card up from 6th place into 3rd. Sack as a Steel, 68 points. And they had just the one transfer. Down from 3rd into 4th. What a Beauty 99, 40 points. No transfers made. Still no change in 5th for Arkham Avengers. They had 51 points. Now they made 3 transfers and lost -8 points as a result of that. Down from 4th into 6th place, Bamford Rejects with 31 points and no transfer activity there. There's no change in 7th place with Luton Town, 47 points and 1 transfer made. Up from 9th to 8th place, Blightsome Squad, 54 points. They had 2 transfers and they took a hit of -4. Down from 8th into 9th place, Raglan Road, 46 points. They had 2 transfers and they also took a hit of -4 points. There's no change in 10th place for Towbuggers. They're 45 points with no transfers. No change either in 11th for Lafayette Lions with 54 points. 3 transfers made though, and they lost -8 points up from 13th to 12th place. Finally got there. 48 points, 3 transfers made, and they took a hit of -4. Down from 12th to 13th place is AFC Trinali with 24 points and no transfer activity this week for them. And finally, still in 14th place, Medinicus. They got 60 points though. They had no transfers.
An interesting game week there is that game week 16 with a lot of managers taking hits and with the minus points. And I think some of the big guys, the Haaland and the Salas, not really doing it for them. I think there's a bit of panicking in the air. Managers trying to see who they could nab, what manager could see a player who might help them on their way there. And look, I think some teams are looking a bit shook at the moment, if I may add in that there.
Okay, well now we're going to take a look at game week 17. The highest points for game week 17 were 120. The average points were 40. Eamon, do you want to have a chat about this?
There's no change in first place because Silverstroke are still maintaining a grip on first with 53 points. They had 1 transfer this week though. Tiger remain in second place with 68 points. They had 2 transfers and lost 4 points as a result of their transfer activity. No change in third place. Sack as a Steel, 57 points. They had 1 transfer. No change either in fourth place for What a Beauty 99. They had 52 points and surprisingly, they didn't dip their toes into the transfer market. The Spoofer is still hanging on there in 5th place with 61 points. They did have 3 transfers and they ended up taking a hit of -8. This is the Spoofer, of course. We're not surprised at that. Up from 7th to 6th place is Luton Town, 54 points. 2 transfers and they lost 4 points as a result of that. Also up from 8th to 7th place is Blightsome Squad, 54 points. 2 transfers. They did lose 4 points though as a result of that activity. Down from 6th to 8th place, Bamford Rejects, 33 points. No transfer activity. Don't be surprised about that. I'm sure nobody's spluttering their tea when they hear that. Up from 12th to 9th place though. Finally got there. 54 points. No transfers made. There's no change in 10th. Towbuggers are still there with 54 points. They did have 3 transfers and they lost 4 points as a result of that sort of carry on. Down from 9th to 11th is Raglan Road, 41 points. They had 1 transfer conducted this week. Also down from 11th to 12th place is Lafayette Lions, 40 points and 1 transfer. There's no change in 13th place. AFC Tinali is there with 23 points, no transfers. And 14th place sees Medinicus 23 points and no transfers made either.
You'd have to say, Eamon, when you look at that game week, there's a lot of movement going on over the last couple of weeks with managers who were on the way up, only now to find that they're on their way back down the table.
Indeed, that's correct. There is a lot of movement here with some managers. They seem to get on a run and go up, and then they hit a slump and go back down there. The only ones that are really standing out here are, well, Tiger there in second place. They're cruising along, doing what they have to do and trying to catch up with Silverstroke, who in fair play to Silverstruck, they're maintaining a lead over the rest of the managers and they're holding that first place there. Indeed, Silverstruck briefly took first place back in Game Week 5 before dropping off into second place, and they remained there. However, since Game Week 8, they've put a run of 10 game weeks together, one after another, where they've held on to first place. That's quite an achievement, wouldn't you say?
Oh, most definitely. It is an achievement. I mean, let's remember, this is one of our new managers. This isn't one of our experienced pundits who are out there playing Jack the Lad and forgetting to do the transfers. No. Silverstruck are professional in their approach. They make their transfers. They don't look panicked. They look very, very steady there, I have to say. And for a new manager to hold first place for 10 game weeks, when you consider that Taiga is trying to catch them and reel them in, it's not working. Saka's steel is up and down like one of those spirit levels there. Don't bother talking about What a Beauty and Bamford Rejects, because they're just the imbeciles of the league here with their approach and their carry on. The spoofer is just like the Mad Hatter. And then you've got Luton Town, who looks like they were trying to make a good run of it. And you've got the likes then of Blightsome squad, who should be doing better, finally got there, the Toebuggers. And Lafayette Lions. I'm surprised at Lafayette Lions. They're not switched on at all. They're just not clicking there. And Raglan, who last season said that they wanted to finish in the top 5, well, they're looking a little bit wayward out there. It's like they're in a boat and the sail's not working or the rudder's not working and they're just afloat. So Silverstruck are doing very good. And I tell you something, they're on the nail here, so they are. They're looking really hot there. I mean, okay, Game Week 17 saw the run, the run of 2 weeks on the rise. It's come to an end, but they still hold a 28-point lead over Taiga, who's sitting there in second place. Yeah, Taiga, actually, when we look at this, they're 1 week on the rise after Game Week 17, and they're, as you said, they're 28 points behind Silverstruck. They're 26 points ahead of Saka's Steel, and while I'm talking about Saka's Steel, they must be happy, actually, because they have a run of 3 weeks where they're on the rise. They took a bit of a dip between Game Week 12 and Game Week 14, but it looks like they're taking sufficient measures to rectify the matters there. Yeah, and then when you take a look at What a Beauty 99, well, they have themselves 1 week on the rise. However, there's a pattern with this manager that they go up 1 week and then the next game week they're back down again. They don't seem to be able to put a run together here. And if I can move on then to speak about the spoofer himself, well, he's in a similar situation. He's 1 week on the rise. The spoofer has had a bit of a drop and rise approach over the last few weeks, but they're holding 5th place there. Now, if we have a look, Luton Town, of course, are 2 weeks on the rise. Now, they had a super run because from Game Week 7 to Game Week 14, they had green arrows all the way up, and then they stuttered in Game Week 15. But it's back to green arrows for them there. Perhaps maybe they're going to make a run of it there. Quite possibly. Another manager who's putting in the green arrows is none other than our Blightsome squad. Now, they are 3 weeks on the rise, and they're going to be looking to build on this there. And, that's good for them. But it's a different story for the Bamford Reject. They find themselves 3 weeks on the drop. And strangely enough, they actually managed to put a run of green arrows where they were on the rise in the league table from Game Week 10 to Game Week 14. But reality has kicked in for this manager. And it's red arrows and you're going down. And after having a bit of reality check for themselves there, when they were on a drop from Game Week 11 to Game Week 15, finally got there, has settled and are 2 weeks on the rise. And they certainly will be hoping there's no more slip-ups. Toebuggers, of course, is another manager who is 2 weeks on the rise. They too also put a fine run of green arrows from Game Week 9 to 14 where they were on the rise, and that came to an end. But it looks like they're back on track again. Yeah, it looks like it. But it's a strange season. So I wouldn't be holding my breath too much on a couple of these lads. They don't seem to be clicking either there. Raglan Road won't be very happy here because they're 2 weeks on the drop. And when you look at their last 6 game weeks, 5 of those have been spent dropping. This manager, he's flying all right, but he's flying in the wrong direction now. After 5 weeks on the rise, Lafayette Lions find themselves 1 week on the drop. Now, they did put a run of green arrows together where they were on the rise in the past. They have a drop, and hopefully this drop is a one-off for them there. As I said, this is another manager who needs to really switch on now. I mean, Game Week 17 and you're languishing down at the wrong side of the table there. You need to get up now and start moving and start doing something. Another manager so on the drop is AFC Bournemouth, 2 weeks on the drop after they had 1 week on the rise in Gameweek 15. However, prior to that, they were on the drop for 4 weeks. So are we probably looking at another 2 weeks of on the drop before they get a green arrow? Very easily, I'd say probably you could be saying there could be 4 or 5 red arrows with this lad here. This is one of the skylarkers at the end of the day. And look, you talk about, boys not doing anything. This fella just, he had a flash in the pan. He was doing cool. He was doing good. He looked at business, and now he's just, he's no Kit Kat at the end of the day. And finally, Medinicus has to contend with 1 week on the drop. They had a fine run of green arrows when they were from game week 2 to game week 7. They were on the rise. Since then, it's kind of been a case of stop and start for the manager. However, they probably will take some comfort from the fact that they are now only 4 points behind AFC Bournemouth. So they could be moving in game week 18. With a bit of luck, I think they deserve to move. They've plugged away. They've done things. They're another new manager. I'd like to see them move. And I think this is their game week coming up that they're going to get off the bottom of that table. And when you get moving, it can be a confidence booster. It can help you move up there. Right, that's it, folks. We have finally caught up. And now game week 18 approaches. It's kicking off the festive run for Christmas and New Year. And our match starts on Thursday, the 21st of December at 6:30 with Crystal Palace taking on Brighton. Of course, we will be keeping an eye to see how our managers are getting on over the festive season, and hopefully they don't have too much turkey or too much ham and end up forgetting about managing the teams. I think some of them have already forgotten about managing the teams. We can always hope for the new year. New year wish. Managers manage. Of course, we have no Hector's hellos this week because Hector is away. But Eamon, you tell me you have a few announcements.
I have, yes, indeed. I have. Somebody sent me in a couple of notes here, and I thought I'd better read them out. So this isn't Hector's hellos. This is Eamon's heaviest or something like that. Okay, look. Firstly, I'd like to wish our Raglan Road manager a very happy birthday. Yes, Owen. I believe it was his birthday with the weekend, so belated greetings to him there, and I hope he enjoyed himself and had a good time, and hopefully he got a chance to raise a glass there. Now, we also have a birthday celebration last week for Catherine. It was her birthday, and from what I hear, there was any amount of cakes and buns going about there, and she also had a great night in the Glencairn Hotel. That's over in Castleblaney in County Monaghan. Derek Ryan was playing there, so I'm sure there was plenty of dancing and plenty of crack at that there. And finally, now this is a birthday that took place earlier in December, and it's belated birthday greetings to Owen. And Owen is up there in, I believe, Scott's house, it is. And happy birthday to Owen. I hope you had a lovely birthday, and I hope you're getting ready for Christmas. And Owen has a brother there called Aidan as well, so I think they're all excited for the arrival of Santa. And Owen loves the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so hopefully he enjoys and gets a chance to play with some of those there. And that's my lot. As he says, happy birthday to everybody. And listen, if it's your birthday today and you're listening, well, Eamon says happy birthday.
Thanks for that, Eamon, and it's good to hear. And finally, look, I'd just like to say happy Christmas to you, Hector, Mick, all our managers in the league, and all our listeners all over the world. And I hope that it's a good Christmas for everybody, that everyone has a lovely time. And, it hasn't been a bad year overall. And hopefully it hasn't been a bad year for you. And I'd also like to just say thank you for tuning in. It's always much appreciated. And thanks for following us. All that remains for me to say is good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Take care of yourselves wherever you are in the world. We'll be back. Slán.